Dear Aaron, since you have gone, I always wonder what was the last thing on your mind. Was it me? I saw you looking up to the light as you were slowly drowning in the ocean. In my dreams, I saw you and the big waves around you. You were helpless.
The fact that those guys did not have to go into the water, they could have saved them, that's murder. The fact that they did go in the water when you had a 230-foot boat 3.5 miles away, refusing to save them, that's murder. That captain had a choice, and he refused. He chose to turn his back on them.
Jeff Webber, your company has been accused in a US court of murder and cowardice.
An Australian ship accused of breaking a sacred maritime code to never abandon a man in peril on the ocean.
No one came to our aid. No one. The boat just left us to die. There's 10 people in the water working for billion-dollar companies. They're not gonna leave us here to die.
But Jeremy, they did.
This is Carrot. This is Daddy. Give a kiss.
Every morning, I always show him the photos and I said, this is Daddy and this is Kurt, this is Daddy and Mommy. And he will start like, Dada. So every time he sees Aaron's photo, he will like go to the photos and kiss.
In early August last year, Queenslander Aaron Howling left his wife Asta and baby son Kurt for 6 weeks of contract work in the Gulf of Mexico.
He loves adventures. He loves beaches and he loves food. He's a very kind person. He will like, if he sees someone in trouble, he will just stop and go and help that person.
Aaron and Asta married in April 2010. Aaron was employed by the big US company Geokinetics to help collect seismic data in the search for oil.
Did it make it harder for him to go away?
Oh,
to know he had to leave a little boy at home?
Yes, he always like, oh, I don't want to go. I'm gonna miss you, you know. But
And was he a good daddy?
he was a good daddy.
You know he was an Aussie?
Yes, yes. It was funny to listen to him talk a little bit.
Nice bloke?
Oh, very nice, very nice. Good guy.
Aaron was based on a boat captained by Jeremy Parfait, working 13 kilometres off the Mexican coast. Trinity 2 is a so-called lift boat. There's hundreds of these strange-looking vessels around Louisiana. They're designed to be jacked up on their 3 legs in the shallow Gulf waters as a stable work platform. But they're no place to be in a hurricane.
There's a storm forming on top of us.
Tuesday, the 6th of September last year. Jeremy Parfait is watching worsening weather from the wheelhouse.
Could get really big.
As this video from the day shows, Trinity 2's extended to the top of its legs in 25 metres of water. In these rough seas, the lift boat will be too top-heavy to lower and then sail to shore safely.
It was my company that called me and told me, hey, looks like this is gonna be a storm. And that's when I said,
You need to get us the hell out of here.
we need to get the hell out of here.
Now, this is a full 2 days before the tragedy.
Yes.
On his radar, Jeremy Parfait is reassured to see the massive 70-metre-long Mermaid Vigilance close by. Contracted to Geokinetics, the Australian ship is just a few miles away.
That's our standby vessel?
Jeremy's boss tells him the Mermaid Vigilance is his rescue vessel.
You've got that reassurance, at the very least, when you look on your radar. You can see the Australian boat, the Mermaid Vigilance.
Yes.
And you've been told by everyone, your bosses, that it's there to rescue you if you need it.
Yes.
So that makes you feel pretty good.
Yes. And that's what I told everybody on board.
Now, let's be clear about this. At this stage, on the Tuesday, would there have been any difficulty at all in the Mermaid Vigilance attempting a rescue of you blokes
Not
the
a vessel that size.
As the hours pass, Hurricane Nate is now forecast, but still no rescue comes. No helicopter from Geokinetics, no ship rescue from Mermaid Vigilance. On board, Craig Myers sends this video home in a call to his mother.
She could tell in his voice he was trying to be strong, but she could tell he was nervous. When I found out that everybody else evacuated on the Tuesday afternoon, I just couldn't believe it.
We know, for instance, that other rigs in the Gulf evacuated. BP evacuated. There were a number of evacuations in the upper Gulf of Mexico based on weather reports of the approaching tropical storm.
Texan lawyer Frank Spagnoletti.
As we say in Texas, you can run, but you can't hide.
Last October, he filed a civil claim seeking $34 million in damages against Geokinetics, Trinity Lift Boats and the Australian company Mermaid Marine.
Why didn't they pull their men out? Why didn't that happen?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to ask them why it didn't happen, but I can tell you that a sound evacuation plan would have had those men out of there well in advance of the storm.
Although the weather is getting worse, crewman Ted Dayreese says a safe rescue was still possible.
Is there any doubt in your mind that the captain of the Mermaid Vigilance had plenty of time and plenty of safety to rescue you?
Definitely.
The storm gets worse.
Yes.
Who are you talking to?
Everyone. Anyone who'll listen to me.
It's getting really desperate.
And there are no doubt whatsoever that you are saying, I need rescue.
Oh, that was the first thing. We cannot stay out here in this weather.
We need to get everyone on the Mermaid Vigilance.
You're reassured
Yes.
that he's there to help you.
Yes.
What does a captain like you have an obligation to do when a man calls for help in
help.
peril on the sea?
Go help. Go help.
You can't say no.
No, you can't.
Jeff Webber. Ross Coulthart, mate, from Sunday Night.
Jeff Webber is the chief executive of Mermaid Marine, which owns Mermaid Vigilance.
I'm sorry to have to do this to you, but there are things we've got to put to you. Your company has been accused in a US court of murder and cowardice.
He's refused our repeated requests over many months for an interview.
The crew of the Trinity 2 believe that they were capable of being rescued, and your captain fled.
He did not flee. He did not flee. Jen, don't say anything.
There is a duty, a legal and moral duty on a mariner to rescue men in peril on the sea.
His duty of care is to the people on his vessel. He had 37 people on his vessel. His fundamental duty of care was for those 37 people, and that's it.
The Australian company is claiming the Mermaid Vigilance was never asked to rescue the men at sea.
At no point was there any direct communication between the Mermaid Vigilance and the Trinity 2 throughout the duration of the incident.
You contact the captain of the Mermaid Vigilance.
Yes.
I don't know what
Had a
Jeremy Parfait
conversation.
said or didn't say.
Well, I'm telling you, he spoke to the captain of the Mermaid Vigilance
I don't care
and
what he
pleaded
said.
for rescue.
I don't care what he said.
Talk me through the radio conversation.
It's late at night.
Come in, Mermaid Vigilance.
I'm calling him to tell him that I want to abandon ship.
Desperate.
Letting him know that I want to abandon ship. If he could come here and pick up the guys,
I need you to come on.
that we need to do that. He's about 4 miles away. He said it was too dangerous. He says, I don't want to get that close to you. I said, fine. We're going to use the emergency escape rope one by one.
You're talking about dropping off a rope into the sea
Yes.
and swimming across.
Yes.
It was that desperate.
Oh, absolutely. If he left, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was not going to be a pretty thing.
If he'd just stayed with you,
Done something. I'd have felt better having this big 245-foot boat on the side of me than having nothing.
so if you'd jumped overboard that night and there was a massive boat, at least right next to you,
Oh, yeah.
so why did he turn tail and run?
He's not a true captain.
He could have kept the plot on us. He could have kept the spotlight on us. He could have just came and did something. He did nothing.
What's the code of the sea?
You don't leave a man behind. Because I know if it would have been us, I'd have been the first one in the water saving people.
The Mermaid Vigilance has just told us they can't help us. They're leaving us here.
There comes that terrible moment when nobody has come to rescue you and the storm is getting wild.
Mayday! Mayday! Going down!
This wind's blowing. This wind is blowing.
How fast is the wind?
80, 95.
Miles an hour?
Yes.
When the Mermaid Vigilance refused to rescue Captain Jeremy Parfait and the 9 other men aboard, they were alone as the full force of the hurricane hit.
Back leg is broke! We're going into the water!
I told everybody, just get ready. It's controlled chaos what we got going on. We're running around trying to make sure everybody stays together. There's a 25-man life raft. We're trying to get ready and everything, Fortunately, that 25-man life raft, it's not made to be in a hurricane.
So what happens when you open it on deck?
Oh, it just flies away.
In the middle of the ocean, in the teeth of a hurricane, having been abandoned, they're now forced to abandon ship.
It was scary.
And what are you thinking?
Sharks, thinking drowning, thinking never seeing my family again.
All the men have to hang on to is a flimsy cork raft with a net in the middle. They call it the shark feeder.
And you're hanging on to this life raft with your bare hands, basically.
Yes. Sometimes you'll ride the wave, and then next thing when you're coming down, it's falling right on top of you. The water's getting forced into your nose, into your mouth, into your lungs. You're throwing up.
You've lost the radio. You've lost your flares. You don't have an emergency beacon. What's going through your head?
We're gonna be all right. There's 10 people in the water. They're not gonna leave us here to die.
But Jeremy, they did.
They have no food and little water and will later be reduced to drinking their own urine. But in the first couple of days, Asta is being told a different story by GeoKinetics, the company that hired her husband.
Don't worry, because they are in a safe life raft with food, with GPS, so they should be okay. So not to worry too much. Then I was like, okay. Then I was start thinking, okay, Aaron was a good swimmer. He's fit and tough, and I was like, okay, yeah.
What happened with Aaron?
Aaron was tired. He's cold. He's shivering. His lips are purple. He's getting the hell beat out of him, just like us. And so sometimes he would let out slack to give himself some room. And then he would untie himself, and I'd tell him, you got to keep it tied. He's like, he just wants a break, just to, try to rest and everything.
I think he might have fell asleep and just kind of let go.
When did you become aware that he wasn't there anymore?
I heard screaming, help, help. And when we looked around and we did our head count, he was missing.
We start yelling, who is that? Who's missing? And it's Aaron. We tell him, swim to the light, yell, scream. When we would go down, we couldn't hear him no more. When we come up, we could hear him. We're holding up the light as high as we can. We're telling him to scream, and we swim. Because I told everyone, we have to go get him. Because if it was any one of y'all, we would go get you. Hours go by.
There was nothing you could do, was there? They tried for hours. They really tried to help, to find him. But they couldn't.
I don't know how to cry anymore. I think that how unfair it is, like we have a very happy marriage. Then why him?
You've been in the water for nearly 2 days.
Yes. I kept thinking I could see somebody go into my house telling my wife I'm dead. And then she's got to tell my kids. Didn't want that to happen.
Day 3 and the hurricane abates.
It was calm, clear skies, sunny, bright, hot.
Overhead, a helicopter appears.
Stayed there for felt like minutes. It seemed like he was coming. So we knew we were saved. I mean, we were hollering, yeah.
And how did you feel when it turned and went away?
Like devastated, like almost had the feeling that they didn't want to find us.
The men are exhausted, dehydrated, many delirious. Weakest is 32-year-old deckhand Craig Myers. That evening, he dies.
When Craig died, I watched 2 of his oldest and closest friends try to resuscitate him back to life. And I watched them, part of them die right there too, right in front of me.
Steve is Craig's father.
One thing that I find astonishing is that Jeremy and the rest of the survivors kept Craig with them after he died. How important was that for you?
My family will always be indebted to them for that. At least it gave us some closure. Having his body, it made a lot of difference.
He didn't have to die like that. I mean, how he suffered, how Nadeem suffered, how Aaron suffered, and how Nick suffered. You're talking about 4 days of dying, just slow, painful process. Didn't have to happen like that at all.
On the 4th day, sometime after 3 in the morning, they spot a light, possibly an oil rig in the distance. 4 men, Jeremy, Ted, Nick and Reuben, decide to swim for help. But 4 hours later, Jeremy and Nick can go no further. Ted Dayries and Reuben Velazquez keep going, but become separated.
And I swam from 7 till I was rescued at 3:45.
You were swimming for 9 hours. And you'd been in a life raft or was floating next to a life raft for how many days? 4 days?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Just didn't want to die.
You didn't want your mates to die, did you?
Ted is seen by a spotter plane. It also finds Reuben. Ironically, the men who stayed with the raft were found over 7 hours earlier. Nick Reed and Jeremy Parfait are the last to be recovered. When Jeremy is pulled from the water, he's so delirious he has no idea that his friend has been floating dead beside him for some hours.
I am in a lot of pain, physically. I'm in a lot of pain.
But you realise for the first time you're safe.
The phone call I made home, I tried calling. And they didn't answer the phone first time. And I couldn't believe that was going through my head. Like, what? Who the hell are they talking to that they don't hear the phone ringing? I'm pretty sure somebody's...
Eventually, he gets to speak to his wife, Christina.
I know my wife's a strong woman, but I know she was going through hell.
After the rescue, one more man, Nadeem, dies from his injuries.
Your claim, filed in the court,
Yes.
calls this murder.
What do you call it?
Do you think it was murder?
I think when you know someone is in danger and you abandon them to that danger, it's murder, or at the very minimum, manslaughter. When you intentionally go in the other direction and know that their life is threatened and you have an obligation to save them, I don't know what you call it. I call it murder.
Does Mermaid Vigilance have any argument that because the master of their vessel is a foreigner, they didn't know what he was doing?
No. You're responsible for the people that you put in charge of your vessels. I mean, you know, this is something that you have the highest responsibility for.
Under the law of the sea, the code of the sea, a mariner should have attempted a rescue.
No.
Are you comfortable? I mean, how do you feel about this?
I'm totally comfortable with it.
An Australian man died, three other men died.
I'm totally
There's a son
comfortable
without
with
a
the decision.
father.
It was the right decision.
I've never seen a case where there's actually a conversation with, death is coming, please save me, and the back is turned.
Asta, did anybody ever say sorry?
In person?
In any form?
No.
At any stage, has anyone from Trinity, from geokinetics, from Mermaid Vigilance, has anyone said sorry? No. Are you prepared to say sorry to those families who died?
It's not my responsibility to say sorry. I'll say sorry because they lost their lives at sea, but I won't say sorry because we've done something wrong.
Now, in Fremantle, in Western Australia, there's an organisation that owns the Mermaid Vigilance. What do you say?
How could you allow a captain of one of your vessels to leave 10 guys at sea when you had the means to save them? They will pay one way or the other.
It can't bring your son back.
No. But hopefully I can help any other family so that way they don't have to go through this, because it's hard.
Good on you, mate. Good luck with it. Cheers.